Alright, well, now that we've saved Horus, it's time to cross a land that Horus would really not have a good time walking through. So, let's see that image of where we're going. Oh, look! It's a big old desert with some bones in it. Oh, I'm liking the signs so far. See that guy right there? He didn't return. Did he ever return? No, he never returned, because he fucking died in a desert. Sup, fuckers? Excuse me, this mask is extremely good. Don't you dare criticize the mask, Marth. Fuck yeah, I'll fight like this. Can't stop me. So, this is my favorite hat in the game, which is weird because it's not an actual hat. It's the only hat that changes not your hairstyle, but rather your eyes. And again, it's my favorite, and if you can't tell why, well, clearly you have no taste, because it's extremely good. I forgot to ask how's everyone, but goddammit, Luke, go away! Luke, I forgot you existed! Why? Ugh. Alright, let's talk to some people. Who's up first? This is how the conversation always starts, but like, I do appreciate that it gets right off the bat while Iris is wearing this mask. Just, as the start, and then she fucking runs. But anyway, yeah, this is about Cecil being afraid of ghosts. And this is a lesson that we all have our weaknesses. Some of us aren't really good at being stabbed, all of us aren't being good at magic, and some of us aren't really good with ghosts. Well, I mean, the problem is, like, this whole thing about weakness stemming from the fact that Cecil's afraid of ghosts is kinda silly. Like, I don't know, this feels a little bit disconnected from the previous supports, in which we're just, you know, talking about ghosts, but now it's like, hey, you saw my weakness, and how she doesn't want to be left behind. That seems like it's a different issue altogether, but sure, yeah, whatever. Anyway, it's board time, baby. Want to learn more about this idiot? Well, guess what? We're learning about him. Aww, they're really good friends. Except, Board's still an idiot. Da 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 dung. Alright, so, yeah, we've said our goodbyes to Kadain. Hey, remember that desert in the last chapter? Well, not the last chapter, a few chapters ago by this point. Yeah, what if we had that but worse? You might have thought that desert was bad, but I'm not kidding, this desert is worse. Alright, so, let's look at the map. Hey, look at that! It's all desert! No grass tiles here! Oh boy! Oh, also Jake's here, and I don't know why. I hate that guy, but whatever. We'll ignore him. So yeah, it's a big fucking desert. It's all desert tiles, baby. Oh boy, that guy's got the Master Sword. Something 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 joke about how Link's gonna miss that Master Sword because it's got the same name as that classic Legend of Zelda weapon. So anyway, yeah, you know how the game talks about nobody's actually come back here alive? That's because they die too much to come back, or that they're barbarians and they just live here, which, honestly, I don't know, I feel it's kinda strange to say, oh, this land is harsh and nobody can survive it, and then say, except these guys, Jake's just here. Why is Jake here? I don't fucking know. He's just hanging out here. So, yeah, we're talking about Jake now. Sata's gotta recruit him. He won't attack us, but like, eh. Honestly, I don't want him myself. I don't like Jake that much, especially since he was a fucker in the last game with his ballista, but whatever, I'll just ignore that for the time being. So, we are in a big old desert, Marth, and nobody's going to enjoy this. Yeah, this place sucks. Jagan is honestly underselling it. Yeah, so either there were fewer enemies here, or he was just really over-leveled for this shit. Cause I don't know how else he managed to get through here on his own. Sorry. Every time the mask comes on screen, I just get real happy. Also, there's that phrase again. There's ours saying that's what I believe. Really hate that phrase by this point. Aww. Alright, well, unfortunately, no matter how strong your bonds of friendship are, they're not going to make this desert any less obnoxious to get through. So, this chapter, we are absolutely at a disadvantage, because we have next to no fucking movement, and the enemy very much does have movement. Those wyverns will fuck you up, and do remember, on harder modes, wyverns have 1 to 2 range. They can attack you from as far away as they like. Well, not literally as far away, but they can take an archer range, or they can take a close range if they're fighting an archer. Doesn't fucking matter to dragons, they don't give a shit. So, yeah, the wyverns. You know, I don't necessarily mind a chapter in which we are absolutely at a disadvantage against the enemy. I just hate it when it kind of involves movements like this. Because here's the thing, of course, because they're wyverns, they do have 2 weaknesses. The problem is, one of them is effectively useless, especially if you have an archer and not a hunter. Granted, hunters don't do that much better than archers, I would imagine, but archers are just so fucking bad in this chapter. Like, honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that Ryan was about to promote, I wouldn't have taken him to this chapter. Use mages instead of archers. Because, quite frankly, wyverns might be weak to archers, but because of the way they charge you, how quickly they do that, it's hard to actually kill them with archers. God, I really wish we had Kinshi Knights from Fates, they're so good. Anyway, though, back there you might have seen Seda pick up some spirit dust, and that's due to the fact that, this desert, like many other deserts in the series, has items strewn about in random spots. Well, they're not random. I will bring up a map right here so you can see where the items are and, you know, what they are. And of course, it's the map I use myself, because I can't fucking memorize item locations, are you kidding me? That being said, though, apparently, and I don't know this 100%, apparently, in this game, finding these items isn't actually based on luck, which it normally is in these games. That being said, your best bet is still any sort of flyer-type unit, because they can fly, they don't have to deal with this bullshit terrain. God, this chapter isn't honestly that good. I don't like it. Like I started saying earlier, I don't mind being at a disadvantage. That can actually be really cool. And, like, in a battle scenario, it is actually good when you overcome that sort of thing. Again, like in Chapter 10 of Fate's Conquest, rather, in which you're absolutely at a disadvantage. Hoshida's got numbers, you don't. They've got 3 different points to enter from, and you're trying to protect the town. So, you are very much at a disadvantage, especially when Takumi decides to be a fucker and drain the water, meaning all units can just rush at you from everywhere. it is a disadvantage, but like I said, even though I'm not a huge fan of Conquest, I think Chapter 10's actually pretty good. But yeah, when it's based on movement, I don't care for it. Well, even that's not true, because I believe I mentioned this earlier, but Echoes has desert chapters, and in those chapters, sometimes the goal is to get from the desert, where you are completely outmatched, to, like, the interior, like you gotta find a desert outpost. And that's actually pretty cool, though I guess that might be because the gimmick is removing your disadvantage. Whereas here, I mean, I guess you remove the disadvantage by killing these wyverns. Also, speaking of killing wyverns, thank you very much Minerva, who has been kicking ass through this entire chapter, as she is... Goddammit, Iris. As she is wont to do, but like... she's just been excelling here. So thank you to Minerva and RNG. On the other hand, though, we also have this group, which didn't fare nearly as well. Rise would have been one hit killed by the wyverns. Trust me, I know that one from experience. So I kinda just had to have everybody huddle around him. And hoo boy, I do not like how these wyverns charged, and honestly, I really wish I had sent Linde this direction. Anyway, though, yeah, giving Seda some shit. I also gave her the cards. You should know why, of course. It's because we have a secret shop coming up. First one in quite a while. And yeah, I kinda had to keep that little cuddle hole because I couldn't really kill that wyvern. That wyvern's a fucker. Oh yeah, lunatic mode version sentences. It adds 2 more wyverns, a hunter, and another swordmaster near the swordmaster with a master sword. So yeah, it's honestly not really that interesting, or rather its difference isn't that interesting. It's just more enemies, and in this chapter I don't really care for that. God, where'd I even pick up that fucking physics staff? I don't think I have it in my other file. Or maybe I do, and I just haven't been checking my convoy. That is actually, also nice, a very real possibility. On the bright side, we do get an Elysian Whip here, which is a promotion item. It is the only non-Master Seal promotion item, and it's important if you want your Pegasus Knights to keep being good at being Pegasus Knights. But of course those weren't in Shadow Dragon, so I'm sure I complained about that situation there. What else do I have to talk about in this situation? Until I talk to Jake, there is a subject I want to bring up, but... oh, you know what, fuck it. You can see him. You can see him not be a ballistician. So, in the original Mystery of the Emblem, I believe I mentioned in the previous game that the ballista units were just completely cut, so no more Jake, no more Beck. I believe at least one of the chapters they were in were just cut completely, because Beck appeared in the Wooden Cavalry, which was a very ballista-based chapter. Now, those of you who are observant about mechanics might have noticed a slight difference in ballistae between Shadow Dragon and this game. If you haven't noticed, or if you haven't seen or played Shadow Dragon, the thing about ballistas in Shadow Dragon is they could move. And if you haven't noticed by now, they have not moved in this game, nor can they. Which, helps at least a little bit so you don't get fucking 360 no-scope by a gigantic fucking war weapon, forgetting phrases. Big ol' bow. We'll just... medieval siege weapon joke. Ah! Anyway, though, yeah, in all seriousness, though, yes, that was a mechanical change. I forget if Mystery of the Emblem also changed the, way ballistae worked in Book 1, which, of course, Book 1 was the original Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light remake before Shadow Dragon was a thing. So Jake here doesn't exactly have his ballista anymore, though. It's just straight up gone. Now, the thing is, he wasn't actually in the original Mystery of the Emblem. You know, he was cut from Book 1, he doesn't appear at all here, which, to be fair, makes him a little less ridiculous. Well, him and the desert that's supposed to be inhospitable. Of course, there was still a secret shop, but Anna works in mysterious ways, so I'm not going to complain about that because it's Anna. Anyway, let's talk about Jake real quick before continuing. Who the fuck made Jake good? Nintendo, who the fuck made Jake good? Excuse me, what is any of this? Intelligent, what the fuck? What is this? Which one of you is the big Jake fan? Answer me, you cowards! What? Why? Why is Jake good? Who made Jake good? How dare you? This is highly illegal. What the... See, in axes and bows, what the fuck were you thinking? Intelligent, what the hell? He's level 1! He's level 1! I don't care if he's promoted, he's level 1! Fuck you! Fuck you! What is this? Intelligent, why? Why is Jake good? So anyway, now that I've talked about how Jake probably sucks and is the worst, let's have him visit the secret shop. Anna, this is your boyfriend. Or alternatively, maybe this is just a different Anna. That is canon now. So, the weapons that kill dragons are the weapons you're going to want to buy. You might want to pick up a hammer and a poleaxe, but do remember those are for later. Anything that has to do with units that aren't dragons aren't going to be quite as useful. Reason being, we're not going to be fighting that many cavaliers and knights for at least a few chapters. Dragons, on the other hand, you might have been able to tell, we absolutely are. And of course, the secret shop also sells 1 rapier and 1 wing spear, so buy those and feel less guilty about using them. Or remember to use them if you're not me, who bought a whole lot of wing spears and rapiers, because they do appear later. I usually sold only 1 at a time, and then proceeded to not use them because I'm dumb. Anyway though, yes. So, as I was saying about ballista before, the thing about ballista is, there is actually a canonical reason that they do move around in Shadow Dragon, but not in this game. The reason being is, there was actually some sort of flower or plant, I'm double-checking this at the moment, but basically it provided an oil or something like that, which allowed ballistae to move. That actually died out between wars, so whatever they were using to grease the wheels or whatever, kind of died out, went extinct, so good job Urcania, you fucked that one up, and as a result, ballistae don't move anymore. They can still be used as siege weapons, but they kinda have to stay in place. And I think I'm looking at the wrong source because Jake just talks about the secret shop with the avatar. I might want to read that one later, because shit, I'm interested. I don't like Jake, but fuck, I want to know what that conversation's about and why they discuss gameplay mechanics. Okay, so yeah, it was oil from a special fruit, according to a mysterious character whose identity I'm certain you can't guess. Certainly, he wasn't the other ballistician in Shadow Dragon, because, you know, we have no idea if that character is even going to appear again. Not like this game incorporates literally every character that's ever been in Urcania, including the ones from the BS games, and all the ones from Shadow Dragon. You know, certainly not, don't be ridiculous. It's not like we got Maris, a character who has only appeared in the BS chapters. You know, it's not like she just suddenly appeared out of nowhere. That's not gonna be a pattern. We don't know if, the Sable Order's going to appear or anything like that. Anyway, let's stop being sarcastic, because Ryan just promoted, and fucking look at this boy! Look at him! Ryan will destroy everything. He has 22 strength. He's stronger than the warrior. Or Cecil. Or Ogma. Ogma's a fucking mercenary, and have you seen his art? He's got some fucking muscles on him. But nope, he's weaker than this small child with a bow cut, who is apparently the strongest being in all of Arcania. Except maybe Harden, but I haven't looked at his stats recently. Anyway, yeah, Ryan's kinda fucking ridiculous right now. Who would have guessed? God, he's stronger than Board! He's stronger than the fighter! God, I mean, I've already had this revelation before, but like, to myself? Because, you know, when you're just playing the game for yourself, you're just like, huh, yeah, Ryan's kinda strong. But now that I'm actually commenting on it, like, actually fucking, yeah, he's really fucking strong. Who made this child so powerful? Well, I mean, me and the RNG, to be fair, but still. Anyway, yeah, the boss of this chapter is generic. And, I hate to give things away, but it's gonna be like that for a little while. We're just gonna be fighting dragons for a long, long time. I do kinda wish they did have personality, though. I really wish this wyvern guarding this castle right here shouted at us about, you know, hating how I've entered the desert, or whatever his concerns happen to be. I don't know what riles this wyvern up, but, like, I wish he'd talk to us about it, but I guess dragons in their dragon form don't really speak the same language yet. That's not until Awakening, in which they don't have a different language, they just get a really cool voice filter whenever they speak. So yeah, because this is a generic boss fight, I really don't care about, you know, not speeding it up, because I mean, it's probably more powerful than the other wyverns, but I don't really care. Anyway, though, for that we get the Worm Slayer. Yep, that wyvern was just holding an item that could kill him and his brethren. Well, I mean, I guess it's just better than leaving it out in the desert. Oh, hi Tiki, how's it going? Tiki, weren't you elsewhere? Like, Bantu said you were in an ice shrine or something like that. How did you get to the deserts? Do you know the small child, or, like, should I toss her out? Do I have to do this who is this sassy lost child thing? Yeah, Tiki's existence is quite the sad one. She is alone quite frequently. Excuse me? I don't like where this is going. Excuse me, Zane, I know Tiki's not actually a child, but, like, she is a 10,000-year-old child. Zane... What? Excuse me? Zane, no. Zane, don't disguise yourself as the small dragon child. No, you didn't. First off, you can't call that out, Zane. Second off, I think he was actually kind of funny in Shadow Dragon for the 2 lines he had, but I can't even remember them, so that's a ringing endorsement right there. Anyway, though, yeah, Zane, a bit of an oddity in Shadow Dragon, and now we actually get to learn what his deal is. But first, let us have a moment of silence. We're about to lose a dear friend. This mask. Rest in peace, Mask. You were real good.